Hello, my name is Andy, and I'm a minister for Trinity of Christ Church. And we're going to be doing a Bible study today on Genesis 42, which is a continuing saga of Joseph in Egypt. To help people who haven't seen the earlier versions that we've already done, you can find them at trinityofchrist.org on our Bible study page. And I'll give a quick review. Joseph was the favorite son of, I believe, Isaac. And the other brothers, his 12 brothers, or I should say the 11 other brothers, were jealous of Joseph. And so they threw him in a pit and then sold him to a slaver to bring him into Egypt. And he becomes a slave in Egypt. And while there, he becomes successful as a slave and trusted until an evil woman, the wife of his master, lied and said that he wanted to sleep with her, and it was really the other way around. So he gets thrown in prison. And while in prison, he makes a name for himself because he is a good and upright man. And so he interprets some dreams for some of the prisoners, and they come true. And so the Pharaoh has a dream, and so he asks for Joseph to interpret the dream. And so he does, and he says, that there's going to be a great famine. There's going to be some great bountiful harvests, and then there'll be a famine. And so, seeing the wisdom of Joseph, Pharaoh makes him second in command of Egypt. And so here we are. They have 7 years of bountiful harvest, and he puts away food for the 7 years of lean harvest, of famine. And so that is where we continue the story. Joseph's brothers go to Egypt. When Jacob learned that there was grain in Egypt, he said to his sons, "Why do you just keep looking at each other?" He continued, "I have heard that there is grain in Egypt. Go down there and buy us some for us, so that we may live and not die." So, yeah, it was Jacob, not Isaac. Jacob is the father and the sons of the 12 children. So they're in the midst of a famine, and so he tells his sons to go into Egypt and try to purchase food. 3. Then 10 of Joseph's brothers went down to buy grain from Egypt. But Jacob did not send Benjamin, Joseph's brother, with the others, because he was afraid that harm might come to him. So Israel's sons were among those who went to buy grain, for there was a famine in the land of Canaan also. Now Joseph was the governor of the land. As I had said earlier, that the Pharaoh put him as second in command. So when Joseph's brothers arrived, they bowed down to him with their faces to the ground. As soon as Joseph saw his brothers, he recognized them. But he pretended to be a stranger and spoke harshly to them. "Where do you come from?" he asked. "From the land of Canaan," they replied, "to buy food." Although Joseph recognized his brothers, they did not recognize him. Then he remembered his dreams about them and said to them, "You are spies. You have come to see where our land is unprotected." "No, my lord," they answered. "Your servants have come to buy food. We are all the sons of one man. Your servants are honest men, not spies." "No," he said to them, "you have come to see where our land is unprotected." But they replied, "Your servants were 12 brothers, the sons of one man, who lives in the land of Canaan. The youngest is now with our father, one is no more." Of course, they're referring to Joseph. And Joseph said to them, "It is just as I told you. You are spies. And this is how you will be tested. As surely as Pharaoh lives, you will not leave this place unless your youngest brother comes here. Send one of your number to go get your brother. The rest of you will be kept in prison so that your words may be tested to see if you are telling the truth. If you are not, then as surely as Pharaoh lives, you are spies." And he put them all in custody for 3 days. I'm going to stop there because there's quite a bit here. Of course, when the brothers of Jacob, who had sold him into slavery, they assumed that he was gone and dead. So they weren't looking to find his brother in charge of Egypt. And so his brother recognizes him right away. But he's kind of having some fun with him for what they did to him. And so Joseph had a dream before all of this had happened. He had a dream about sheaves of wheat bowing down before him, 11 sheaves of wheat. And that was one of the dreams that made Joseph's brothers angry and had him thrown into slavery. So even his dreams are starting to come true. Here they are bowing before their brother, yet they don't recognize him. Joseph, being a man of God, no matter where he was, he rose to the occasion of whatever he had in life. He was happy when he was living at home with his father and prospered, which caused jealousy on his brother's parts. When he was sold into slavery, as a slave, he prospered because he served his master well and was given more power and control. And despite the fact that an evil person lied on his account and he was thrown into prison, even in prison, he was recognized as someone worthy. And so they put him in charge of the prison. So when the one of the prisoners who had a dream that Joseph interpreted remembered that Joseph could interpret dreams. He told Pharaoh. And so when Pharaoh listened and realized that he did indeed know what the dreams meant, he found wisdom in his words. And so he made him second in command of the whole kingdom. For those who wonder if following God is profitable in this life, here's a perfect example. He did well because he followed the precepts of God and was wise because of it. And so those around him recognized that. And so he was given more responsibility and greater position. And that is still true today. If you're honest, hardworking, have the master or whoever you're working for in mind to help him, they will see that and they will recognize that. And even if they don't, you will have a clean conscience and good demeanor, no matter where you are. Whether it's slavery, prison, or in power. So here they are coming to buy food, desperately begging from their brother, who they don't know is their brother, to survive. You know, there's famine in the land, there's no food in the land, and so they're trying to survive, and so they're bowing low before their brother, even though they don't recognize him. If you remember, and I don't know this for fact, but in Egypt they wore makeup and other things that would have hidden who he was, you know. Plus he'd be in rich robes and whatnot. So their brothers would never think to look there, you know. Okay, 18. On the third day, Joseph said to them, "Do this and you will live, for I fear God. If you are honest men, let one of your brothers stay here in prison, while the rest of you go and take grain back to your starving households. But you must bring your youngest brother to me, so that your words may be verified, and that you may not die." This they proceeded to do. They said to one another, "Surely we are being punished because of our brother. We saw how distressed he was when he pleaded with us for his life. But we would not listen, and that's why this distress has come upon us." Reuben replied, "Didn't I tell you not to sin against the boy? But you wouldn't listen. Now you must give an accounting for his blood." They did not realize that Joseph could understand them, since he was using an interpreter. He turned away from them and began to weep. But he came back and spoke to them again. He said, "Simeon, take from them." He had Simeon taken from them and bound before their eyes. So he chose Simeon as their bond. Joseph gave orders to fill their bags with grain, to put each man's silver back in his sack, and to give them provisions for the journey. After this was done for them, they loaded their grain on their donkeys and left. At the place where they stopped for the night, one of them opened his sack to get the feed for his donkey, and he saw his silver in the mouth of the sack. "My silver has been returned," he said to his brothers. "Here it is in my sack." Their hearts sank, and they turned to each other, trembling, and said, "What is this that God has done to us?" I'm going to stop here because there's something in here that needs to be said. The guilty are always looking over their shoulders about what they did. They realize that they were guilty about what they did to Joseph many, many years back, and they are afraid that God is punishing them. In a sense, He is, for their lack of compassion and for their selling their brother into slavery. And everything that's happening makes them feel guilty. And they often, the Jewish people would say that bad things happening is because of sin. And it is true that bad things do happen because of sin. But, not everything bad that happens is because of sin. That's a story for another time. So they're all worried and they're all upset, and they don't know what to think. 29. When they came to their father Jacob in the land of Canaan, they told him all that had happened to them. They said, "The man who is Lord over the land spoke harshly to us and treated us as though we were spying on the land. But we said to him, 'We are honest men, we are not spies. We were 12 brothers, sons of one father. One who's no more, and the youngest is now with our father in Canaan.' Then the man who is Lord over the land said to us, 'This is how I will know whether you are honest men. Leave one of your brothers here with me, and take food for your starving households and go. But bring your youngest brother to me, so I will know that you are not spies, but honest men. Then I will give your brother back to you, and you can trade in the land.' As they were emptying their sacks, there in each man's sack was his pouch of silver. When they and their father saw the money pouches, they were frightened. Their father Jacob said to them, 'You have deprived me of my children. Joseph is no more, and Simeon is no more. And now you want to take Benjamin. Everything is against me.'" Then Reuben said to his father, "You may put both of my sons to death if I do not bring him back to you. Entrust him to my care, and I will bring him back." But Jacob said, "My son will not go down there with you. His brother is dead, and he is the only one left. If harm comes to him on the journey you are taking, you will bring my gray head down to the grave in sorrow." So, Jacob is afraid to send his youngest son to the king. But he must if he wants Simeon back. And so they don't know what to do. They're all in a panic. They're all even blaming God. Something we all do. We all blame God for our problems, when it was really them who started the whole thing. Well, that's the end of the chapter, so you're going to have to come and join me next week to find out how this ends. God is a merciful God. And Joseph is a man of God. So I'm pulling for those brothers that they do the right thing and get rewarded for it. God bless. Have a great night. And hopefully we'll see you next week. That is trinityofchrist.org.